In a world where champions are sculpted from steel and willpower, where legends are not born but built through relentless pain and discipline, there comes a man whose very journey is a defiance of fate. His name is Hadi Choopan, the Persian Wolf. His rise is not simply a tale of biceps and symmetry. It is the soul-stirring story of a man who clawed his way from obscurity into the heart of bodybuilding royalty, all while carrying the hopes of a nation on his back. Behind every pose, every striated muscle, every flex that brought arenas to their feet, lies a battlefield of hardship, silence, and resilience. Hadi's journey begins far from the flashing lights of Las Vegas or the global spotlight of Mr. Olympia. It begins in the cold mountains of Sepidin, Iran, in a world that rarely gave, but often demanded. Born into modest surroundings, Hadi's early life was far from glamorous. In a country beset by geopolitical tensions and economic limitations, he grew up without access to modern training equipment or elite gyms. He didn't inherit opportunity. He earned it with blood, calluses, and raw grit. His first workouts weren't with chrome dumbbells or Olympic benches. They were makeshift exercises, carried out with rocks, rusty bars, and iron plates that clang not in luxury but in survival. While others were focused on play or leisure, Hadi was training, relentlessly, obsessively, grinding away in silence while the world remained unaware of the storm that was building in the east. What made Hadi different wasn't just his genetics or his muscular density, it was his feral intensity. There was a fire behind his eyes, a hunger rarely seen, a kind of quiet rage turned into purpose. As his body transformed, so did his destiny. In Iran, he became a dominant force, earning the nickname, the Persian Wolf, an apex predator in every sense. He brought with him a physique that defied logic, massive yet symmetrical, aesthetic yet terrifying. He had the ability to look like a heavyweight titan while moving and posing like a seasoned artist. But despite his dominance in Asia and the Middle East, the international stage seemed forever out of reach. For years, Hadi fought an enemy few athletes ever encountered: politics. Visa issues, bureaucratic delays, and geopolitical roadblocks prevented him from competing in many global shows. The Mr. Olympia stage, bodybuilding's ultimate battleground, remained locked behind closed doors. It was a heartbreaking struggle, training year-round, staying in peak condition, and yet being denied the chance to prove himself. While others walked onto stages with the world watching, Hadi trained in silence, sharpening his physique like a blade waiting for war. He didn't just appear, he erupted. With less preparation time than many of his competitors and none of the advantages of past champions, he stood toe-to-toe with the best in the world, and placed third. It was a moment that sent shockwaves through the bodybuilding community. Here was a man, previously unknown to many, who looked like he was carved from the mountains he trained in, now roaring on the world's greatest stage. He didn't just win a medal, he won the hearts of millions. The Persian Wolf had arrived. In the years that followed, Hadi continued his meteoric rise. Every time he stepped on stage, he was sharper, harder, and more dangerous. In 2020, he finished fourth. In 2021, he climbed back to. With each performance, he proved that he wasn't just consistent, he was inevitable. What made him so feared was not just his mind-blowing conditioning, but the total package he brought: a dense, mature physique, laser-sharp abs, etched glutes, and a relentless energy that never faded throughout a routine. He moved like a machine but carried the spirit of a warrior. Judges couldn't ignore him, competitors couldn't overshadow him, and fans couldn't take their eyes off him. But beyond the physical, Hadi's story began to transcend the sport. In a country with limited international representation, especially in Western-dominated arenas, he became a symbol. To Iranians and millions of fans across the Middle East and Asia, he wasn't just a bodybuilder, he was hope. Proof that greatness could rise from restriction. That excellence knows no language, no border, no barrier. He carried the pride of his people, and every time he walked on stage, he bore the weight of that responsibility with grace and grit. And then came 2022, the year that changed everything. It was the most competitive Mr. Olympia lineup in years. Big Ramy was returning to defend his title. Brandon Curry was hungrier than ever. Rising stars like Nick Walker and Derek Lunsford were making their presence felt. But when Hadi Choopan stepped onto that stage, something felt different. He wasn't just conditioned, he was flawless. His posing was precise, his lines were surgical, and his energy electrified the room. From the front double biceps to the most muscular, every shot was a knockout punch. There was no denying it. This was a complete physique, presented with passion, power, and perfection. When the final results were announced, the crowd exploded. Tears streamed down Hadi's face as he stood at center stage, holding the Sando trophy high above his head. The Iranian flag draped across his shoulders, a lifetime of pain and perseverance pouring out in one moment of victory. In 2023, Hadi returned to defend his crown. Yet the sport evolves rapidly, and so do its champions. Derek Lunsford, making waves in the open division, brought a blend of aesthetics and mass that pushed the boundaries. Despite delivering another phenomenal performance, Hadi placed second. It was a controversial decision to many fans. But Hadi, ever the stoic, accepted the result with the same dignity he had shown his entire career. He didn't lash out. He didn't crumble. He simply nodded, smiled, and walked off stage with the heart of a champion and the spirit of a lion. Now, with 2025 approaching, the bodybuilding world once again turns its eyes to Hadi Choopan. Training harder than ever, he appears to be preparing for the ultimate redemption. Every update, every photo, every training video shows a man who hasn't lost a step. He's gained 10. The density is deeper. The conditioning is harsher. The fire? Still burning. The Persian wolf is far from done. If anything, he's more dangerous now than ever before. And as the Mr. Olympia stage looms once more, fans and critics alike wonder, can Hadi reclaim his throne? But Hadi's journey has already etched itself into the legacy of bodybuilding. He has become a symbol of defiance. A man who turned limitation into liberation. Who broke barriers not with complaints, but with results. His very existence at the top of this sport is a statement. A reminder that excellence is not determined by convenience, but by commitment. And that when raw talent meets relentless will, the impossible becomes inevitable. So, as the lights once again prepare to shine and the crowd readies for war, one thing is certain, Hadi Choopan still prowls. He still fights. He still believes. And when he steps on stage again, he won't just be posing. He'll be hunting. Because the Persian wolf doesn't chase crowns. He reclaims them.